Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about a journey that I am currently going through, and I just want to simply give you advice and some tips on how to go through this season. Today we'll be talking about the healing journey, a journey that is very uncomfortable, that not a lot of people like, but it is necessary for the things that God has called us to do. So grab your coffee, your tea, sit back, relax, get comfortable, and let's get straight to the video. So, my healing journey, it's been a bumpy road, but like I said in the beginning of the video, it's a very necessary thing, because before God can give you the promises and the blessings that He has upon your life, He must first detoxify you and heal you from past hurt, past trauma, or anything of that nature, so you can be well prepared and be able to manage the things that God has in your life. Um, for me, it's definitely been tough. First things first, everyone's journey is different. And the biggest thing that I've learned is to not compare your journey to anybody else's journey, because like I said, everyone is different. We all go through, our journey may be similar in some ways, but at the end of the day, we do go through it differently. And that's what makes our relationship with God unique, because it's all different. But it's very necessary. In this journey, you will feel uncomfortable. You would want to give up, but you can't give up. And definitely in this season, because I've been a Christian my whole life. My mom always taking me to church. I grew up in church. But as I got older, I believed in God, but not really believe in Him. You know what I'm saying? Like I believed, like, okay, yeah, there's a God, but my faith was not there. But this healing journey really is what made me really build my faith, because you go through things where God takes you through a season of isolation where He can really deep clean you. Like, He really gets deep, and like He talks to you, and really be able to understand His voice and how He speaks to you. And so in that season, I just of course, I isolated myself from people just because I wanted God's voice to be louder than the things that I surrounded myself with. And it got to the point where I understood the things in the Bible. I understood it for myself. I didn't base my faith based on other people around me, based on their testimony. I mean, testimony helps, but actually experiencing God on my own is what helped. And so with this, healing journey, I've learned that God created, like, first he wanted to build a foundation first. So him trying to show to me that I can trust Him. And then from there, it led to Him slowly, like, it's not Him, but me slowly opening myself up to Him, because growing up, I've learned to just be strong, be independent, and stuff like that. But with God, you know, God tells you, hey, don't put up a front, don't put up an act, just be 100% with me. Like, I want you to be comfortable. And that was hard for me, because I'm like, being comfortable is crazy. But God will be able to create that space for you to be vulnerable and be able to, He brings out the little kid in you, right? And so, like, basically in the healing journey, like, you're gonna have the enemy that's going to throw things at you, and he wants you to, like, give up. He wants you to stop, because he realizes as you heal, you're getting more and more closer to God. So he'll try anything he can to stop you. So he'll throw in thoughts. And what the enemy likes to do is he likes to plant seeds in your mind. And if you entertain that seed will end up growing. So that's why from the start, if you realize a thought, that's why it's important to read your word, because when the enemy throws a thought at you, you're able to um, fight back with the word of God. Like, oh, you say this, but this is what God says, and God is the truth. Um, so definitely, and realizing you're going to have your days where you're going to feel fine, but you're also going to have your days where you're not going to feel fine, and that is okay. That's the whole point of the healing journey. It's not made to be perfect. You're going to make mistakes. You're going to mess up. You're going to have your down days. You're going to have your good days. But at the end of the day, you know that God is by your side along that journey. And like I said, it's not perfect. It's not a straight path. It's more like a roller coaster. That's what I like to describe it. It's a roller coaster. And you're constantly learning new things about yourself, learning how to navigate through your emotions. But with this journey, it really causes you to lean on God and depend on Him. Know that you can't do anything without God, because God is, He's someone that cares for you. He knows way much more than what you know. And it's good to have Him by your side to be able to speak to you, even at moments of difficulties. Like, I find myself where I feel like giving up, and then God would, with, you know, speaking softly into my heart that you got this. This too shall pass. And that's the biggest thing that God really has spoken throughout the season, was just like, this too shall pass. Like, this is just temporary. And realize whenever you're in the season, make sure you ask God, like, what is the purpose of this season? What is it that you, God, want me to take out of it? Not God, not praying to God like, hey God, what am I gonna get out of this? No, because it defeats the whole purpose of the reasoning of the whole season. Because if you're thinking about the end, the season will feel longer than it'll feel long. But if you pray and you ask God to give you the perspective of how He sees the season, then it will allow you to really see it in a whole nother perspective. And each day you're just wanting to learn something new. Because the whole point of the healing journey is just basically making you the person that God has called you to be. And it's really doing the deep work of removing the things that you're used to, or that you were comfortable with, or the things that you thought were healed from, but you just basically just tossed it in the back. So do know that you're going to have some times where you thought you healed from something, when in reality you just submerged it and covered it up with a lot of things to deny the fact that you're still hurt by it. And God will remove those things and be like, hey, so here's the thing that you're still dealing with, that you said that you're healed, but literally, like, you just a little bit, it still affects you. So be prepared for that. But just know the biggest thing is, in the healing journey, sometimes you may feel like you're alone. You may feel that, like, why is this happening to me? Yada, yada, yada. But just know that you're not alone, and that everyone, at some point in their life, they go through this, where they go through a really tough time, and that tough time really pushes them to rely on God. And through that, God uses that moment to turn something bad into good. And He is able to use that opportunity to really develop you and build you. Um, and God can't, of course, God can't really be able to do anything. I mean, He can, but at the end of the day, we have free will. And if we're willing to allow God to do what He needs to do, we know that at the end it will be beautiful. It will be perfect. It will be amazing. Um, so yeah, so anyone who is going through the season, just know you're not alone. It is tough, but it's a good fight to fight. And know that this won't last long. It's only for a season. A season has its start and a season also has its ending. And so just know, like the scriptures say, you shall receive joy in the morning. You know, tears may come at night, but in the morning you shall receive joy. And just know that God will never leave you nor forsake you, and He cares for the brokenhearted. He cares for those who are weak, because in our weakness He is strong. And just knowing these things, and like I said, truly read His Word. The Book of Psalm, the Book of Psalm is a great book. It's like a my pastor he's explaining about the Book of Psalms this month of September and the importance of it. And the Book of Psalm is literally a prayer. When you read it, it's like as if the psalm is reading, it's speaking about your situation. So when you get the chance every night, try to read a chapter of a psalm and allow it to resonate in your heart, um and also use that as your prayer. And another thing, remember, whenever it comes to prayer, prayer is just a simple conversation, like what I'm doing right now. This is like, this is me and you, like me talking to you. Um, that's how it is with God. Prayer is just a way of communication. So don't think that whenever it comes to prayer, it has to be something formal. Your tears can be a prayer. Your sighs can be a prayer. You know, just know that, the spirit that dwells in us, it interprets our cries, it interprets our sighs, it interprets our moans to God, and our grunts, all that. It interprets to God, and God, just know that God, He cares. He's loving, and He wants to build a relationship with you. He wants to be close with you. What type of father doesn't want to build a relationship with their children? You know, and if you did experience where a parent or somebody abandoned you, just know, of course, in the beginning, it's going to be tough, with your relationship with God, because you're going to think, oh yeah, God is going to do me the same way how somebody else did me. But just know that God is different from man. God He's truly an amazing person. He's your best friend. He's someone you can talk to. He's somebody that you can be honest with, and He won't embarrass you. He won't shame you. He won't make you feel that you're horrible or anything of that. He's just simply a father and a best friend who cares for his children and wants the best for them. And just know, in this journey, it's going to take time. You're not going to be better in within one day or in a week or two. It takes time, and you know and just know that God loves us. And when I say love, not the feeling love that the way that the world defines love, but what the Bible defines as love. Love being patient and kind, doesn't hold any records of wrongdoing. Definitely gentleness. That's the biggest thing I've experienced with God, is how gentle He is and how patient He is. Like, I realize a lot of the times I'm more hard on myself than God is on me. And it's just, that's just how sometimes we are as humans. We're sometimes hard on ourselves, and God is like, I'm not even, like, you do something wrong, I'm not keeping any records of it. I literally just throw it in the depths of the sea. Like, I forget about it. But us, when we do something wrong, we're like, ah, shame on me. But anyways, back to the thing. Yes, whatever comes to healing, um It takes time, but yet it's a beautiful thing. Even though it may not feel beautiful in the midst of it, but when you get out of it and you're able to look back, you're like, wow, God really did that. And whenever you receive your blessing or the promise that God has made with you, you're able to look back and be like, okay, now I understand why I had to go through what I went through. Because if I had that characteristic still with me, for this promise, I would not be able to effectively, you know, use my blessing correctly. Instead of something being a blessing, it turns into a curse. So yeah. Well, guys, that's the end of my video. I hope you guys all have a blessed day, and I'll see you guys next video. Bye.